Good morning, YouTube. So this morning I wanted to do a side-by-side comparison. So I've had my eye on the Tuglyfe unregulated box mod for a while, and I bought one. I bought it direct from the States a little while ago, and I've done a video on it so far. It's a fantastic box. Really enjoyed it. But I was just browsing on eBay a little while ago, and I thought, well, there's one going for a lot less money. Obviously, it's a clone, but I thought, you know what? Why don't I have a look at that and do a bit of a side by side and see what the difference is and see what you actually get for your money over and above the authentic versus the clone. So here they are, the two unregulated Tuglyfe box mods. They both came with vape socks. Now, I am assuming that the vape sock here, which came with the clone, is also a clone, and that the vape sock which came with the authentic is an authentic. They look incredibly similar. The only difference is the top. This is the authentic, this is the clone. They both have all of the same branding. In fact, they have the same tags on as well. This one didn't come with any labels or anything like that. The authentic came with a card, a certificate of authenticity. But to be fair, they're both almost identical, to be quite honest. Yeah. Doesn't really matter, don't really use them, to be quite honest, but I thought I'd have a look at these two. So the first off, there's their price point. The authentic costs something like, I think I paid about, including the shipping, £100 for it. I think it was about $79 plus shipping, and the clone cost £29, so considerably less. And when you look at them initially, they look very similar. You've got a very similar logo on them. You've got the same button on the side there, the fake button or the cap, and then you've got the same Tuglyfe on the side. You've also got a similar button placement on the top, and then up top you have a very similar 510 connection. In fact, I believe it is the same. Looking at it side by side, they look near enough, damn it, identical. They've even got the same sort of blue insulator in the bottom. I'm not sure if that is. You'll notice that actually on the authentic it's slightly off center. The clone is lined up properly, but hey, in the hands they do actually feel a little different. So the authentic is clearly a piece of aluminium, and it has been coated with some sort of powder coat or Cerakote or something like that, whereas the clone is I think it's wrapped with something, so it's got, you probably can't see that, to be honest, but it's definitely got some sort of almost like a vinyl wrap on it, so you can actually see, in fact probably the best to see on there, maybe you can't see, but you can see it's the blood splatter is actually coming through the white slightly, whereas on the authentic that is properly engraved in there, as you can feel, you can see. The only missing bit on this is the clone doesn't have USA engraved on the bottom, but other than that, very similar devices. The weight is pretty much identical, and the height width is exactly the same. If you go ahead and look inside the authentic is not the best finished on the inside, and there's a bit of overspray on there, and the sled inside, you can see some overspray coming on the inside. Let me just take these batteries out. Same problem with the batteries, with the wraps being grabbed, but you can see there. In fact, why don't we just go down and have a look down here. So you can see in here there is some overspray on the inside. It's not painted on the inside at all, it's just the plain aluminium. All the battery sled is just marked out, engraved onto the aluminium there, and then you've got the MOSFET. And there's the back of the back door with your cutouts in there to make sure that it fits on smoothly. Conversely, in the clone, just take those batteries out of there. You can see that it has been coated, or it has been painted on the inside. There's no real overspray at all because it looks like it is a wrap. You can see on the edge where everything stops. And it also looks like, if you can see there, some of it's peeling off slightly, but it actually looks very clean on the inside. If I can compare the two, as you can see on the back panel, that's painted. You can also, I've not noticed that, but if you hear how I put them down, you can actually hear the fact that it is it's been coated with something. Yeah. On the inside, not a huge amount of difference actually. You've got your MOSFET protection on both of them. The wiring is pretty clean, to be quite honest. They are both parallel, so you have your positive up, negative down. They've got the same problem with the connections grabbing your battery wraps, but there's no warnings on the clone. And then in terms of the other differences, there's not a huge amount. My biggest thing which I prefer about the authentic versus the clone is the button. So that is a positive clicking button, which feels nice, it feels solid, you know when you're actually firing, whereas this is a much cheaper feeling button. No click, more of a squish, if I'm honest. But other than that, quite similar devices. I think subconsciously probably I gravitate to using the authentic, just because I like the fact that it is an authentic, and I do prefer the clicky button. But look, what I'm going to do, I'm going to throw some batteries back inside, and I'm going to vape it. Here we go. I'm using some E-Fests and some Sonys, so not necessarily exactly the same, but that will do. And there we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Freak Show Mini on the clone. And they've both got very similar builds in there. And I'm going to use my Doge X2 on the authentic. There we go. Let's come back up. So there we have them. There are the two devices. As you can hear, firing away. But with this one, I find that more satisfying. In the hand though, they feel very similar. This one does feel more like coated metal, whereas this one has a sort of a softer feel. I am concerned that I'm going to rip off the wrap on this if I use it too much, or if I put it in a pocket with keys, for example. But let's it's been 10 minutes. Let's have a quick vape and see how they perform. Absolutely fine. I think it looks cool. Sorry, vapor over it. I think it looks cool. I think it's a nice looking mod. I think they both are good looking devices. Now, I was a little bit concerned that I've seen some other videos of the Tuglyfe unregulated box mod, and I've seen that the button in various ones that I've seen online is either a red button or a silver button. This is clearly a black button. I don't know whether that's an option or what they put in when they were making this particular one. I am pretty sure that this is an authentic. Otherwise, I was conned. But yeah, it's a much nicer button. Yeah. And equally, again, a nice box. Nothing. It feels less premium. It really does. But for the price point at £30 versus £100, I suppose you get what you pay for. You absolutely do. But to be quite honest, if I had bought this one before I bought that one, I'm sure I would be very happy with this. I was just purely curious. I wanted to see what the difference was going to be between something which was 100 versus 30. But thank you very much for watching. As always, keep on watching, keep on liking, and thank you very much.